Before I bring up the Hrbek family to induct Dave Hrbek, I do have to say something really short. Tonight's not about me, but when I first came here to Warren County, they stuck me in a trailer. Whoever knows the old building, I was a trailer by the cemetery. And the first 3 months were pretty hard here. I was 5 hours away from my family. And on the first cold night, freezing cold weather, the kids thought it'd be funny to turn my air conditioner on before I left. So when I came in the next morning, my desks were frozen and I couldn't teach in my classroom. And I went into the library looking for some help, and there was Mrs. Hrbek, and I tell her what happens, and instead of laughing at me, which pretty much the rest of the faculty did, she gave me a tap on the shoulder and said it's going to be just fine. And her family, the whole Hrbek family, has been very good to me over the years. I appreciate, and I'm so excited to bring them up here to induct Dave Hrbek.
Go first. I'm a crier too, so we're gonna focus on the paper. First, I would like to say good evening and say thank you for recognizing my dad for all of his years of dedication to Warren County High School and the athletic program. I am honored and privileged to be able to call him my dad. Growing up with two amazing parents makes me reflect a lot on how I am as an adult. Looking back, I know that I will never be able to fill their shoes. But because of them, I strive to be the best. I grew up going to sporting events because of how involved my dad was with Warren County athletics. Basketball games became my home since that is what he did for, I thought it was 15, maybe it's 13 years at Warren County High School. I heard many stories about him and his players, or one specifically about me being placed in the middle of the basketball court and being told not to hit the baby. But let's not forget his years as a head football coach and helping the track and field. And once he stepped away from football, his passion continued onto the radio, doing play-by-plays for WFTR. Not only did my dad help in these areas, but also the arts in Warren County by supporting children and those that he taught in school. He was also a huge supporter of our activities, such as attending all of my cheer competitions, even though he really didn't understand. And although my dad ended up leaving Warren County, he never stopped supporting Warren County and their athletics, and well, me, since I was still attending Warren County schools. During my junior and senior year, I played against him in softball. I will never forget his words. I might want my side to win, but I will always want you to do your best. He was cheering me on, even when I was playing third base and he was coaching third base. So those are the only games that he ever cheered against Warren County. I know that if my dad was still here, he would be wearing the newest Warren County gear and attending soccer games, cross-country events, football games, and soon baseball, softball, and volleyball, just to support his grandchildren. And have either walked or will walk the halls of Warren County. The outpouring of love that we hear from his former athletes and students and the impact he had on those students fill my heart. I can only hope that one day, my athletes that I coached will be able to have funny stories or impactful moments to share about me as I hear about my dad. I also hope that my children, nieces and nephews will have the same impact from a coach. Thank you for giving my dad and our family this honor. We are lucky to have him in our life and call him dad, but we're happy to share him with this community and for you to be able to call him coach, teacher, or friend.
I'm Chad. For those that don't know me, I'm not the local living person in town, so people don't know me quite as well these days. But I did grow up here going to Warren County High School, the high school, I guess, as it was referred to. I did not participate in a lot of the sports that my dad coached, at least not at a higher level. But he was very involved in the Little League, the baseball Little League, and then also the winter basketball, Saturday morning basketball stuff that I did participate in those, and so I was able to be his player primarily. He was my coach in those times. But again, growing up within coaching things, we attended all of the games, and it's hard for me to attend a sporting event now and not be down like on the bench or a row behind, because that's where I always attended when I went to the games growing up, and then when I helped as I could when I was in high school. One of the stories I remember about him when he was the JV basketball coach, they would have their one day a week morning practices, and he had a route that he went and picked up the players to get them to practice. It's probably not allowed these days, but back in the 80s, that was okay to do. And so he made sure that they could get to practice, even though they didn't have transportation. And then I, in the same way, got him home after school practices as well. So he would make his rounds, making his deliveries, drop-offs, and so on, so they could all be there to participate. As I said, I did not play in those sports in high school, but I ran track and cross country, and he was at those meets as much as he could, as the schedule allowed. And then I did theater and marching band, and he was at those things too. So he was supporting Warren County as a whole and not just the athletic programs, whether he was just there as a spectator, as a parent, as a coach. So I just want to thank everyone, thank you all for nominating, for putting him in this honor as well, to be part of this Hall of Fame.
Good evening. I'm Hrbek, the oldest. If you've not picked this up, the Hrbek family doesn't do things small. All of us have to come and do things at the same time, so thank you for indulging us. But many of you all knew my dad and our dad as a colleague and a coach, a teacher, or a friend, and I knew him as Dad. He was my best friend, and I'm so grateful that his legacy here at Warren County High School is being recognized tonight. So I do want to share a few moments and thoughts about my dad. First of all, he was a coach who loved kids. It's probably a pretty good requirement to be a coach. But he loved being with them, teaching them, he loved coaching them. And he would call the details of a pitch in the 6th inning of a Rotary Little League game in 1986 or a missed tackle against Hanley in 1983. I could not believe the encyclopedia memory he had of all the plays that he coached in his tenure. Dad was in it. But for Dad, winning wasn't everything. It was the experience. When I first heard Bill Hall, parent-athlete talk, which I think I've heard now about 9 times, 10 times, I was really excited. Because he talked about, what's your why? And I smiled the first time I heard that, because that's what my dad had been saying all along. Even if we didn't use those same words back when he coached. He would have wrecked WC with the best of them. His philosophy was simple. Do your best. He believed and he taught that there is a difference between losing and getting beat. Losing to a better team after giving 100%, that was acceptable. But getting beat because you didn't give your best effort, that's what disappointed him. He valued consistency, fairness, and effort above all. Once I became an adult and our relationship changed from dad, son to friends, he told me a story about when I was probably about 8 years old. And his JV basketball team here at Warren County lost very badly. And he was very upset about the game. And apparently, out of the mouths of babes, I told him, standing on one of the bleachers about the same eye level as him, Dad, they played their best. And he said that moment changed his attitude. Now, I told this story at a retirement party about 20 years ago, and there was players from Ohio, from his baseball team, and he was in his 20s coaching, and they said that does not remind them of that coach that they had then, but he obviously evolved and matured. And one other story that had a great impact on me was when I was a young boy, and Dad had just returned from a coaching clinic from a university in Pennsylvania. He came home absolutely giddy. I don't know that I've ever seen him so excited, because while touring the football facilities, he had the chance to meet the coach he had always tried to model himself after. At the time, I didn't know who he was talking about, but later I learned that was Joe Paterno. And after Dad passed, I read Coach Paterno's biography, and when I learned what he stood for, I couldn't have been more proud that that was my dad's North Star. He cared deeply for players, whether it was hosting spaghetti dinners at the house or driving the kids, as Chad said, at 6 o'clock in the morning for that Thursday morning basketball practice. He made them feel like family, and the family spirit is part of why so many of his former players, students, and others carry on that legacy. Not a month goes by when someone doesn't tell me how my dad had a positive impact on their life, on the field, in the classroom, on the court, and in life. So growing up, Chad, Carrie, and I, as you heard, had a bit of a unique world that we lived in. For us, the church and Warren County High School were the two main institutions in our lives. I didn't realize other kids weren't at parties after Friday night games with all the other coaches, teachers, and their families. I thought that was a normal thing to do. Most of my peers didn't travel on a school night to Loudoun County or Prince William County in the back of a van, but we did, or the front of the bus, or when Mary Kay Moose is driving, my mom has a TV on her lap and gets pulled over by the police because she's not supposed to be watching TV while she drives. But Dallas was on, so they had to watch it. But we did this to support my dad and to support Warren County. But that was because of Dad and also because of my mom. See, Dad was able to pour into his students and his athletes because Mom, right back here, she made it possible. She was the steady presence at home. She was the team mom, the one who kept everything together, so he gives so much of himself to others. And so, as we celebrate tonight, my dad's induction, I'd like to invite up someone next who deserves her own place in the Hall of Fame, and that's Susan.
Hall of Fame Committee, Hall of Fame members, and the 2025 inductees. On behalf of our entire family, I want to express my deepest gratitude for this incredible honor of inducting Dave into the Swing Shiplet Hall of Fame. It's a moment filled with pride, emotion, and reflection. Not just for me, but for our three children and our grandchildren who are also with us this evening. They loved and admired him deeply, and did so many of the young athletes he coached over the years. He loved Warren County High School, and he wanted to make it the best. His contribution to Warren County High School was to coach and to provide the young athletes leadership. His theory on coaching was not to coach for the attention, but to coach for the kids. He believed in their potential, their strength,